Hello everyone, and welcome to the February edition of Presence. Well, I hope your 2012 is off to a great start. We're very excited here at Presence because our year is off to a great start. As many of you know, and many of you who are watching attended, we were in Baytown, Texas for our conference on the Gospel of God. This was for us a historic event because this is the culmination of many years of study that Dad has put into a long number of years that began in 1971 with his publication, The Spirit of Prophecy, then moved into the 1980s with The Cross and the Parousia, and now is concluding with the Gospel of God. When I say concluding, I don't mean it's the end of study, the end of investigation, or certainly the answer to all the questions, but it has for us set the framework from which all discussion will take place. What I mean by that is, as Dad outlined in Texas, and as you will see shortly on the website, throughout all his sessions, the way in which the Gospel of God is actually that good news that begins in Genesis and goes all the way through Revelation. And the beauty of the Gospel of God is that it is a gospel that is inclusive of the Hebrew writers, the work and teachings of Jesus, and all the apostolic writers, so that what is developed is a gospel that is one seamless gospel. It's one and only one gospel. It is one story, and that story is about my identity and your identity. And it's the story and good news of God about how we are in His image. It is not the story of how God moves humanity from one religion, i.e. Judaism, to another religion, i.e. Christianity. Rather, it is the story of the good news that we are actually free from religion. In fact, that we are free from any boundary-driven thinking that limits our identity, as we serve a God who has no limits, no limitations, the immeasurable. So this Gospel of God is going to do a lot of things that make major differences in the way the biblical narrative is seen. Primarily, all those of you in Baytown already know that quite a bit of reframing was done regarding Jesus and what then would we call the Gospel of Christ versus the Gospel of God, and how does it fit within it, and who was Jesus. Then that will raise the question, who were the first fruits, the ecclesia? What was their mission and purpose? And how today would we see our identity? And what role would religion play or not play in that identity? A number of major themes that are completely reframed in this series. Now, the newsletter that we're sending out right now is to also let you know, for those who were at Baytown, that as we came back and as we reviewed the material, we realized that, surprise, surprise, we had a lot more material than we had time to present. And you were patient enough in Baytown to listen to a number of sessions and listen and study on a number of different themes. Yet at the same time, we know there are a few more blanks that we'd like to fill in as we put it on the website, because we're going to have thousands upon thousands, not only right now looking at this, but over years to come. And we want to make sure that the story is as clear as it can possibly be. Now's the time, if we're going to put it on the website, now's the time for us to get that story as clear as possible. So here's what we're going to do. Dad is right now recording, and we are going to begin to post material that adds to what was done in Baytown and modifies some of the things that were done in Baytown, so as to make this as detailed and complete and as clear as we possibly can. For those of you who have emailed me who were not able to attend the conference, and all the many of you that are saying, when is this going to be posted? When are we going to have access to this because we couldn't go to Baytown? The answer is a biblical answer. Soon and very soon. It's going to happen within your lifetime. It'll happen before some of you taste of death. That's right. The time for this is at hand. Now, with that corn being taken out of the way for a moment, we're actually going to begin this week at doing final recordings and modifications for the introduction part of the Gospel of God. And the way it will be framed is going to be to look at God's purpose, and that purpose is actually going to take us back before time began. We're going to see how that purpose was the creative intelligence that led to the initial creation and to what's known in the Hebrew writings as the promise. So we will go from purpose to promise, and then from promise to fulfillment. And yes, things like eschatology will certainly be a major chapter in the Gospel of God, as it is the concluding chapter. And I would no more ask you to read an exciting book and skip the last chapter than I would to say that the conclusions of the Gospel of God are not important. So, yes, all of that will be in the Gospel of God, but we will see that it is one seamless, total story that involves our identity. So many more things I could say here because we spent a whole weekend talking about it down in Baytown, and I'm just trying to say, for those of you who weren't able to be with us, there's a lot of good material coming. What you can expect then is that we will begin to post the sessions that have to do with purpose, followed by the sessions that have to do with promise, the Hebrew writings, and then we'll move into fulfillment, which will be the transformation of all things in Jesus and the first fruits of a whole new harvest until we finally get to the conclusion of God's gospel and the status of our identity today. And what we'd like to do is roll those sessions out one at a time over the next few months till we have the whole story complete. And the fact of the matter is if we posted right now about 9 or 10 hours worth of material, I'm going to say it's probably not very many of you that are going to sit down at your PC or your laptop and be able to consume all of that in one setting anyway. So we'll be distributing this in an even and timely manner because we're ready to go. There's not new material that's still in research and development. It's just organizing it and getting it out. So I want to send out this newsletter to say hi to everybody. Hope your year's going great. Hope things are going well for you in your life. I'm Doug at Presence.tv. If you have any questions about this or any of the other things that are going on in your world or our world, always glad to hear from you and do the best I can to respond to anything that you send to me. So, we'll be back to you next month. In the meantime, watch your email because you will be seeing before our newsletter next time our first posts, which are about to go onto the website regarding the gospel of God. Hey, thanks to everybody out there for your support. The only reason this is happening is because of you, our partners. This could never have happened without the support you give to us. We cannot thank you enough. Have a great month out there. Let's make it a great February. Can't wait to talk to you next time. God bless.